you're getting married and you're meeting with your minister and they ask you the question, so have you thought about personal vows? Now for some, it's a breeze, not a problem to stand in front of people and to speak, but for others it could be absolutely terrifying. So that's why I've decided to do this video called How to Prepare for Your Personal Vows, 5 keys. Let me also say, if you could, subscribe, click the bell to get reminders of our videos. Please like it if you like it, and also leave some questions or comments. That really helps. My name is Erick Schultz. I am of Bella Floral Wedding and Event Design. That's my business. I do floral, but also I have another area that I serve brides, and that's ministry, or being an officiant. And I have done so since 1987. We figure probably 400 weddings that we've done to help bride and grooms. So I'm bringing some information to you. I'm hoping that it will be helpful to you. But you may ask, well, why do we need to have a video on how to prepare for our vows? I'm glad you asked that question. Let me share this story with you. It was just moments away from a wedding, and the bridal party is all lined up. Parents, ushers, everybody's ready to go. The guests are seated. And I am going to lead the brigade down to the ceremony site and start the procession. The bride asks the wedding coordinator to get me. I get a tug on my shoulder or on my coat, and I said, "What's up?" The bride, according to the wedding coordinator, she's not ready. I said, "She's not ready. She doesn't have her vows ready. She wants you to come and help her." I mean, I'm looking around going, everybody's ready to go. I said, I can't help her right now. We've known about this for months, all right? And I met with her months ago, and even recently. I said, you're going to have to help her the best you can. I said, do whatever you can, give her some ideas, and hopefully everything will turn out okay. So we get down, and before I share this story, the rest of the story, I'm going to give you the 5 keys. Key number 1. And that is use the KISS principle. Keep it short and keep it simple. So keep it short and simple. Don't make this too difficult. Don't stress out about this. I think you may put too much emphasis on how you're going to look and how you're going to sound. That's not what this is about. Everybody knows you're not a public speaker, so they're going to be very easy on you. You're not to worry about being eloquent. It's not about that. It's about being real, and it's about being authentic. You're to convey a few thoughts and express your love to the one you love. Remember, it's not a documentary, and it's not about reading a book either. And that's another thing that sometimes bride and grooms mistake. They want to say too much, and it should be just short and sweet, because that will have more of an effect than taking too long. Key number 2, your vows should come from the heart. So how do you do that? Get alone with yourself, get something to write on, something to write with, and just start to write some thoughts about your spouse and about your relationship. And here's a few starters. When and where did you meet? Your first date, what was that like? How about when he proposed to you? Or how did she react when you proposed to her? How about your promise to love them? A favorite pastime. I remember one couple that I married, she was into and they both were into the Dodgers. So everything was blue and white, royal blue, and they added this theme throughout the whole wedding, okay? A promise to put up with their idiosyncrasies or their pet peeves. That can be really funny sometimes when each of you share about how you're going to, struggle through some of those challenging things that the other person loves to do or always does. Also, just a sweet story about how you love them and the idea you have for your future and growing old together. Those are some really great starters for your personal vows. Number 3, write it out. You don't need to memorize it. Don't feel like you have to memorize anything, because you want to have some paper there with you. And I'll go into that in just a second. But in case you blank out, in case all of a sudden you have a, as they call it, a brain, you want to have something to look down to and get you kick-started again. Because if you're not used to being in front of people, then don't try to sound like or act like you are. So just bring some notes for yourself, write them out. Each of you should have your own vows. So consider a couple paragraphs or maybe 4 or 5 bullet points on each of your separate pieces of paper. And again, these are to remain secret. So don't let your spouse or to-be your spouse to see them. You want to share with some family or friends about what you're doing. That's great. But don't feel like you need to go over these with it. It should be a surprise for the day. That makes it that much more special. Key number 4, how to execute your personal vows on your wedding day. So once it's the day, what do? He has pockets. She has a dress. Usually the case, right? So he should carry both notes. Let's say you have them folded up. One says Joe, one says Mary. They go together. They go in the breast pocket. And then when the minister says, it's time for your personal vows, he goes in, grabs them. Joe, that's me. Mary, that's you. Makes it real simple instead of her trying to find a place to carry it on her dress, okay? So each of you have separate notes. He takes the note out of his pocket. He should go first. That's usually how I do it. 3 to 5 minutes for each of you. Maybe 10 minutes for the whole bunch. Maybe less. Better. So again, short and sweet. Remember that principle. Look up every so often. Look into the other person's eyes. Gaze into their eyes. It's a romantic time. It's a tender time. It's a sensitive time. If you laugh or maybe you get choked up, just pause for a moment and then start again. It's no big deal. And as the minister, I always allow the couples to do their personal vows first, and then we follow up with traditional vows, which I can share about that on another video. The end of the story. This segues into our 5th point. So where do we leave our couple off? Okay, let's fast forward. Here we are now. I'm ready to go into the personal vows. I allow him to go first. He pulls his piece of paper out. He gives this very humorous, tender, kind, sweet personal vows, and the guests are responding. Every time he'd say something tender, you'd hear, oh, right? And he'd say something a little humorous, and you get a chuckle out of it. He did a great job. A little rhyming in there. I mean, he really did a wonderful job. So now it's her turn. Now, again, like I said before, I told the wedding coordinator what I suggested her to do. Well, she did that. She wrote about 4 or 5 bullet points. She gave it to the bride. She said, just use these as kind of a Kickstarter. Just go with that and just add to it, right? Ad lib to this. Just be spontaneous. So it's her turn. She pulls her piece of paper out and she starts to read. And she reads the bullet points, word for word, verbatim. Doesn't add anything to the bullet points, just what the bridal wedding coordinator wrote. She finishes, she folds the paper up, she puts it, gives it back to him, and she looks at him as to say, okay, I'm done. Well, then there was the longest pause, and he's just staring at her. And we're waiting for him to respond, and he looks at her and says, is that all you got? Well, you could have heard a pin drop. Well, I quickly moved into the next part of the ceremony and kept things rolling. So this is our 5th point. Don't wait till the last minute. If this is something that's concerning for you, then take some time to practice and get some notes down and have something to at least to read, okay? So hey, this is Eric with Bella Floral Wedding and Event Design. 5 tips on how to prepare for your ceremony. Again, number 1 is the KISS principle. Keep it sweet. Keep it short and simple. Number 2, your vows should come from your heart. Number 3, write it down. Don't think like you have to memorize it. Number 4, how to execute your vows on your wedding day. And then number 5, don't wait till the last minute to prepare. So Eric with Bella Floral Wedding and Event Design. If you're in Southern California, you need an officiant, a minister, please give us a call, 714-356-0165. Again, subscribe below, click the bell, look down at some of our links. I've got other videos there, lots of social media. Contact us. We'd love to meet with you. Again, the ministry consultation is free. I can do this by phone or in person. Also, the wedding flowers rather are free consultation as well. So I can do that by phone or in person. Again, thanks so much for tuning in. Eric with Bella Flora. Have a great day.